district in general. You guys have all been amazing conservation partners in my previous role, and now transitioning into this role as a biologist of DNR in the Shingleton unit. And for those of you I haven't met yet, I do cover portions of Delta, Alger, and Schoolcraft counties as well. So based out of the Shingleton office, not too far away. I don't cover Munising, but we do answer a lot of wildlife needs here. So if you guys need anything, you can always reach out, and I'll be happy to help in any way that I can. You guys are doing a lot of great work, and we've got some exciting news to share as well, that we recently did award the Alger District the Deer Habitat Initiative grant again this year to improve wintering deer habitat. So we really appreciate your efforts and all the additional landowners and partners that are involved in that too. So I normally give presentations. Well, first of all, I haven't actually given one in 2 years because we haven't been able to, so a little grace would be appreciated. But in all honesty, I usually am talking about wildlife habitat, wildlife ecology, game bird biology, what you can do to enhance your land to benefit wildlife populations in general. So this one's a little bit of a step back for me because Matt asked me to touch on something that I'm really passionate about, but more on a personal level, and something that I do share a lot with people, just not always in a professional role. So I wear a lot of hats, but I'm not wearing my DNR hat today, needless to say. So essentially, as a biologist for the DNR, my biggest passion is enhancing habitat for wildlife populations, and basically enhancing public access opportunities as well, and working with a wide diversity of partners throughout the UP. Game bird biology is my specialty and what I'm trained in, essentially, but I really have a wonderful opportunity to work with a huge diversity of wildlife throughout the region and throughout the UP, and now I have a chance to focus on grouse and woodcock in my new role as well. So again, I won't be speaking on those duties, rather my passion and experiences for upland hunting, and that really spurred my interest in wildlife management. So I was more of an adult onset hunter. I've been bird hunting for 15 years now, in my mid-30s, but it really wasn't something I grew up backcountry camping and angling, but not something I grew into necessarily. So I didn't grow up with bird dogs, but I will die with them. So I'm happy to just share that journey with each of you, and what that basically entails, and some of the fun things that I get to be involved with, and I get to do it with dogs. So my better half Eric is in the back too, but this is our pack. So right now we've got a Brittany and a Llewellyn setter, that's Aspen and Chip. We're insane because we're picking up another puppy, a setter puppy next weekend, and probably a Brittany in a few months too, so we're absolutely losing our minds, I think, but it's a fun adventure, and they really do go everywhere with us and are a huge part of our lives as well. So why upland hunting? What's the buzz about upland hunting? Why is it so magnetic to me in general? Essentially, a girl's got to eat. So upland game birds make amazing table fare, but that's really not necessarily the reason that was my hook that really got me into upland hunting itself. For me, it's the experience. It's habitats like this, spending time afield with our dogs and friends and family, just the smell of the fall woods, working hard to have an opportunity at a bird. I don't know if you can see the woodcock flushing here. Just having an opportunity to see that and have your dogs on an opportunity to take advantage of the birds in the woods that we work so hard for. Working and hiking through dense young forests with blackberry brambles poking you on every inch of your body, and aspen stands and aspen stems poking you in the eyeball. I promise you there is nothing like it. And if that doesn't sound enjoyable to you, upland hunting is not for you whatsoever. So feel free to just disengage from the rest of my presentation if that doesn't sound like anything that might pique your interest. But I really call it a gateway drug, and that may be kind of faux pas and cliche to say, but this is what it's all about for me. So that's my dog Chip too. Just the smell of the woods. I mean, you can always just kind of sense when you're on to your next adventure, and just creating those memories each day in the woods is what it's all about. So that being said, there's, over the past 10 years, women hunters are the fastest demographic in the hunting community. While hunter numbers are declining across the country, and actually on a global scale, women hunters are really engaging and really diving in and kind of breaking down barriers, again, not to overuse that phrase whatsoever, but they're really doing some amazing things and kind of changing the game of hunting in general. So there's been a lot of things that are now more geared towards women. Again, it doesn't have to only be about women hunting with women as well. It doesn't have to be I guess, exclusive, so to speak. But at the same time, this last policy report from University of Minnesota is titled Women Hunting in the Future of Conservation. So when you think about the fact that a women hunting demographic is the fastest growing demographic in our hunting population, there's a lot to be said there, and there's a ton of potential for women to really kind of change the future of wildlife conservation, as hunters do drive and are the main funding mechanism and are a driving force for on-the-ground conservation. So as my upland hunting career grew, something really special kind of started to happen for me. And like I said, this is kind of where I wanted to share my personal journey. Women were gaining a huge interest in upland hunting. So this was nationwide, but it was also happening all over in Michigan too. So people that I was really plugged in with in the upland bird hunting community were starting to reach out, and we were starting to talk about things and starting to talk about how we can support each other. So some of my best girlfriends now are ladies who love to upland hunt, who have their own dogs, train their own dogs. Now I find myself traveling to other states to spend time with them, hang out in the woods, hang out with our dogs, plan hunts together, and this is something that I really want to do for the rest of my life and continue to enjoy those experiences. And a lot of them are biologists too, which is really fun. So that's my friend Meadow. We've done a ton of things together. We used to work together for the Ruffed Grouse Society. She now teaches at Itasca Community College in Minnesota. There's a couple other photos of other female colleagues and biologists and women wing shooters that I just love spending time to. So then I had an amazing opportunity, I don't know how, it kind of fell into my lap I feel, to do a film with a company called Project Upland. And the film was called Public Grouse, and I was ecstatic. But I immediately was completely frozen because they asked me to do a film in Minnesota, or potentially Michigan, on a spruce grouse hunt. And we don't have a huntable spruce grouse population in Michigan. So I wasn't sure how I was going to pull this together, let alone where was I going to go, and I hadn't hunted spruce grouse before. So I immediately reached out to these ladies to do it with me, and reached out to Meadow and my friend Bailey Peterson, who is a wildlife biologist for Minnesota DNR on the North Shore of Lake Superior. So I suggested that they join me and we go on this crazy hunt together, and we hit the Superior National Forest in northern Minnesota and had an amazing time. It was just the three of us and our dogs and a videographer from Project Upland that joined us. He's from Utah and has never been through a spruce bog, so we took him on a wild ride, and I don't think he's ever going to come back, and I haven't talked to him since, so I feel like he's probably cut me out of his life forever. But he got a great experience, and the film itself is absolutely gorgeous. It's on iTunes, it's available on a lot of streaming platforms. If you guys are interested in something that allows folks to share their passions for public lands and public hunting opportunities with some insane videography on wildlands and wild birds. It's a pretty cool thing to share that passion and have it on such a public platform too. So these are some images about that, or from that shoot with him and from the film. And then we had an opportunity to write an article together, which is difficult to do with three people that have very different writing styles and speaking styles. But it was nonetheless an amazing experience to share. And I think the most important thing about that for me was maybe that will just, if someone sees that or just sees something that we might share on social media, or they might catch wind from a friend, might light that spark for that next generation of hunters, whether they're upland hunters or not, or someone that just takes an opportunity and an interest in enjoying a little bit of those experiences, I think would be worth it. Oop, I apologize. Okay, no, I really. Someone always does this in a presentation, and today it's me. Yeah, so from that I also learned that trudging through a spruce bog has very little return on the investment of falling 5 feet through spruce bogs to try to get to a grouse. So we had some interesting experiences, but it was worth it. So as this upland journey continues, I started to notice that there were some barriers for women in the outdoors in general. And not like they haven't existed forever, and like I said, I don't want to be super exclusive or inclusive of women specifically, but it's something that I'm touching on today and kind of why I'm here. So I was trying to figure out why these barriers existed and if there was anything I could do to change it. So, I mean, upland hunting isn't easy by any means, but you don't need much to get into it. You don't necessarily need a dog and all the high-tech gear and a GPS collar. You really just need to spend some time learning about the biology of the bird and finding some points on a map and failing a lot until you just continue and persevere. And it really is a test of patience and perseverance. You know, and that's really what it's all about. And then you can bring all the other gadgets and dogs into the mix if you choose. And some people are just starting out right now and just getting a dog and following their dog around, and that's amazing too. There's something to really be said about that. So I started to realize that some of these barriers might be the fact that maybe these individuals don't have that sense of community, and they haven't really found that sense of family necessarily, and they haven't grown up potentially with a family that gave them that. And I was kind of self-taught, which is why I make a lot of mistakes, and I still do. You know, and having that mentorship is really important. So I started to think more about a comfortable environment to grow and to learn within, and what that might mean to people. Somewhere where you can excel, get support, fail, laugh about it, learn from it, kind of move on. So that's become really a big priority for me, to try to break down those barriers and try to welcome people kind of into that fold and into that community or that family, so to speak. So by doing that, I've found quite a few people that have been doing the same thing and are interested in the same thing and just as passionate. But one of the first things I started to do was try to figure out how I could use different platforms and different media platforms to share that message, to reach out, just talk about it. So I've done a lot of different fun hunts with other women in Michigan and other states as well. I've gone on a lot of podcasts or hosted virtual pint nights when we couldn't actually get together and have a beer or a kombucha or a water together, and that's been really fun too, just talking about things. And it's been men and women together, you know, kind of in the same space, just talking about how we fail, how we succeed, what questions we might have for each other, just things to bounce off of other people. Talking about food and conservation and food and community together, and how they're all kind of intertwined. So this all built up to a lot of people reaching out to me about a lot of different topics, whether it would be different areas that they might be able to look into, or what to look for when they're trying to pursue grouse or woodcock on the landscape, or issues they're having with their dogs. And I'm by no means a dog trainer, and I don't claim to be. I'm just lucky that I have a pretty obedient dog that has gone everywhere with me, and we get lucky, but he's still a work in progress, I think, too. But I think to just share my story and my journey and help to grow this community and the future of conservation is really important to me. So outside of work, I mean, my job isn't always an 8 to 5, ever, actually. An 8 to 5 seems, especially in the spring, but it really is something that you take home that means something to me, that's a huge part of my life as well. So it's fun to share that. So after I started to think about like what this might look like in the next phase of, okay, I can talk about things all I want, I can reach out to people, there's a good network of people that have reached out to me that are seeking help or seeking guidance. Now what do you do? So I started to plan a women's event here in the UP as kind of an intro, but after 2 years of the C word, not the one you're thinking of, I finally had the opportunity to host a women's event that really aimed to empower other women and also kind of build on that sense of community. So we hosted that through Project Upland, and also Artemis, which is a branch through the National Wildlife Federation too, that is trying to really develop the next leader of, or the next generation of female conservation leaders. And held that in Cedarville, which was really awesome. So some of the photos you can see, kind of the Lachino Islands on the bottom there surrounding us. I was lucky enough that friends owned an island resort there. I don't know if anyone's been over that way. And they let us host our event there, and we brought in women that at least had hunter safety and were interested in pursuing their hunting journey a little further. Some of them already had bird dogs and just wanted a mentor to go and follow their dog around and gain some guidance and experience, or hunt over other dogs to see how they function as well, and try to just bounce things off. So we did an intro to upland hunting and waterfowling. So we had them out in layout blinds too, and everyone got a look at our grouse and woodcock. Unfortunately, no one harvested woodcock, but we did harvest a few waterfowl there. Had a bunch of divers in at that point in time. And I hosted this with my best friend and hunting partner, who I think, her name's come up quite a bit, Sarah Topp, who I think quite a few of you know or have worked with. And it was just it was a really awesome experience. It was, I think you can find it now on YouTube, on Michigan Outdoors. So they joined us as well, and we had a lot of great partners and sponsors. Backcountry hunters and anglers supported us as well. So it was, yeah, that was a really uplifting experience, and the first time I've actually had a chance to take other ladies out in this kind of group setting. It's usually just been one-on-one or two individuals together, so we enjoyed it. So that's what it's really all about for me. Like that journey, I think, is really important, and I think it's important to share your story and try to share how you succeed and how you fail with other people, and that's how we kind of learn and bounce ideas off of each other and really develop ourselves. And I don't know, you don't know until you try. So I went through this insanely fast, so I'm going to touch on the second part of this presentation for you guys. So after this had all kind of culminated, and then there was an experience that caught me out of left field completely. So we were vacationing with my family at that resort in Cedarville, and I got a random phone call on my phone from Florida, which I never answer. I'm horrible about screening my phone completely. And Eric's like, you should answer this one. So I did. And it was Disney, someone who had worked through Disney and also worked on the show Uncharted, and asked me if I was interested in guiding Gordon Ramsey on an upland hunt in the UP for National Geographic. And I immediately said yes, and I think I hung up right away. I'm pretty sure. So I wanted to kind of collect my thoughts and figure out how I was going to make this work, because they originally had said that they wanted to hunt in an area, I apologize, that's really sensitive. They wanted to hunt in an area that I didn't know as well, so I wanted to collect my thoughts, make sure I could bring Eric along, that he could at least handle dogs while we worked through guiding, developing a conservation message to share, which was really important to the Disney crew, and trying not to get Gordon killed in the grouse woods. So it was a fun thing. We put things together with the producers and had a good chat, and we were able to actually host them basically right across from our camp, which is south of Gwynn, just outside of the Gems there. And we had an opportunity on private land, which was good for us from a safety standpoint. We were able to at least be behind a closed gate and weren't going to encounter other folks. But my message obviously did include, that I was trying to share while I was talking with him through the woods, did include support for our conservation partners in our public lands. So yeah, it really kind of snowballed into something that happened within a month. Eric and I had to give our first grouse and woodcock that we harvested of the season to their culinary team to send to California, which was really hard. So we begrudgingly just handed them over, knowing that a Michelin star chef was eventually going to cook for us. And then, yeah, that week they came during filming and they wanted 10 woodcock. And some people don't get that in a season. So we worked for it. We really worked for it, and we made it happen on the last day, and got to experience quite an amazing meal. So I wanted to play a clip of that for you guys. It's on Disney Plus. If you don't have a subscription to that, I wanted to at least share this with you because it highlights some really amazing local food, some slight conservation messages. They didn't use a lot of mine in there. And really highlights the wild places in the UP that we appreciate, and the people and the culture too. So I'm going to play this real quick. It's just a few minutes. My fingers aren't working. Oh, I was going to put the microphone on the speaker. This is going to be awesome.
It hasn't changed.
Oh, yeah. Oh no, thank you. Oh, bear with me.
Peninsula of Michigan, in the heart of the Great Lakes. The UP, as it's known, is hot.
There's always technical difficulties.
I know. Do I have to end slideshow?
Probably.
Yes.
Doing great so far.
Okay, I think it's going to work now. Sorry, guys.
Yes, escape. We will get you out of that slideshow.
There we go.
There it is.
Apologies. Okay. Oh,
You got Jerry.
Sorry. So that was fun. It was, for those of you bird hunters in here, it was, we had a mountain of people behind us too, so it was really difficult to try to navigate what we were attempting to do and at least give him an opportunity to bird while trying to keep an eye on our dogs, keep an eye on the safety guy, the sound guy, the videographer, the producer, everyone that was behind us too. So yeah, it ended up being, I think I lost my presentation here.
Was he actually the one that got the bird, or was that
Yes,
good
that's
editing?
funny. So everything's played up for TV, but they did shoot at the same time. If you heard that delay, Eric was basically to the point where we had moved quite a few birds. He was kind of delaying in some of the shots that he could have taken at that point in time that weren't on camera. So Eric, I think, probably shot that one first. He did, I think, at least have a BB in that bird as well, so we chalked it up as just a good teamwork, and yeah, and he at least got that one as well. But he was hilarious. I mean, he's very cordial, talked about his family a lot. He's really just charming and swears a lot too, which was hilarious. So we really enjoyed our time with him, and he shared a lot of stories about his family. So from there he went, he dove the Bermuda and was spearfishing there. They were looking for burbot and weren't able to get into any, but he still sourced some other smoked fish and fish sausage from Captain Ron here in Munising, which was awesome. So the Matson family was there at that final cook too, which was out on Black Rocks on Presque Isle, and they had drones flying around. They had set up a table out there, and it was really incredible. They foraged for chaga. They locally sourced all their veggies too. They should have hit you up as well, and we'll have to do like a wild game dinner and some locally sourced vegetables. It'll be amazing from the farm or something. So it was neat to have bird hunting put on that platform, nupple hunting on that platform, as well as the UP, but also the woodcock, which is an amazing table fare, but kind of an underrepresented, sometimes underappreciated game bird. That's really important for other wildlife species conservation. So it was really cool. The last slide I have is just photos from that of Eric and I, which I don't think I need to really dig through here and bring up. But other than that, guys, that's really just kind of the story and that adventure that I wanted to share with you guys tonight. Is there any questions that you guys have? If not, again, you can reach out. You can find I do have business cards, but if you guys need anything at any point in time, or you have a harebrained idea that you'd like to work on a project together, thinking outside the box, or if you need something, need assistance with anything, please reach out to us. And we're mostly here. We're back in the office officially. We're still functioning like we never closed in Shingleton, but I think offices are officially open to the public the middle of May, so things will start picking back up again, and you'll see some more warm bodies around.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did your birds win the cook-off for Gordon?
It was amazing. I think so. So it was really funny. I don't know if you guys have met Captain Ron, but it's hard to get a word in when you're trying to talk about food and kind of from like a chefy standpoint. So I think Gordon did a better job with the woodcock. He did that. I think he prepared him with like a roasted beet, and he did add apple. And James Regato, I think, if I remember correctly, used like a gravy. So I think they were a little overcooked, and I said that in the show, actually. They were delicious. It was absolutely amazing, but I was like, I think they're a little overprepared. Because we like a more like medium, I guess, medium preparation. But yeah, all around, it was a heck of a meal, so I can't complain.
Cool.
Any other questions?
Any other questions for Heather?
Thank you all so. Oh, yes, sir. Go ahead.
In your spruce grouse hunt, are there really that many spruce grouse in Minnesota that you could actually have a hunting season?
Yeah, they do, and I believe, I'm really going to be pushing my memory, I believe their bag limit is 3.
For the season or a day?
For a day. So they have a much hardier spruce grouse population than we do, but don't quote me on that. I cannot recall what their bag limit was actually, but I'll need to look into that. I mean, our population is doing well in Michigan, but not as well. I mean, we've got hit with spruce budworm pretty significantly, and our spruce bogs are just feeling the repercussions of that, and I think spruce grouse as well are, but spruce grouse I think are now, in Michigan at least, transitioning into a different cover type and utilizing other forest types like jack pine, so we'll find them in aspen as well. So I think they're adapting, but it's interesting here, we don't have a huge handle on how that population actually is doing, so we've just kind of abstained from opening any harvest opportunity. But Minnesota is definitely a hardier population than we've got here. So something to think about down the road for us. I know it's been brought up quite a bit to revisit that and take a look at the population here too. So kind of a unique opportunity. But everyone calls them a fool hen for a reason. I mean, when you do see them finally, they don't really move too far.
Easy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of projects are you working on now?
So I've been in Shingleton for a year now, so there's a lot of sideboards and just trying to get to know the unit and meet everyone and meet partners too. So we just finished our wolf tracking survey, so that was a huge project for us. Right now we're native and wildlife surveys essentially. So we'll start, we've got woodcock, sharptail, we're starting the grouse drumming survey up again after an 8-year hiatus this year. Spring waterfowl will be flying, and the doe fawn survey that we do after spring breakup, usually 2 weeks after breakup, just trying to determine what kind of mortality and success we had from the winter. So native and wildlife surveys right now, but within the Shingleton unit, we're really ramping up utilizing prescribed fire on the landscape to enhance sharptail habitat. It's kind of a big buzz for us and some other partners as well. And trying to find other ways that we can really work on enhancing deer wintering habitat too. So that, among trying to find diverse opportunities to partner with private landowners, and you know, there's not a huge presence for that type of work with the DNR, so working with folks like the district and other partners is really crucial to that too. So starting off, yeah, we're kind of just rolling into that. We're looking at native warm season grass plantings too, which I was talking to a few of you about today, which I'm not quite sure what we need to expect for zone hardiness here, but we're looking at trying to bring back some of those native warm season grasses in some of our openings rather than just continually planting food plots each year. That it isn't really sustainable. So that's off the top of my head some of the things we're working on. So yeah. Anyone else? Well, thank you guys so much. I hope you all get home safe, and it's so great to meet all of you tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
So,
Sorry.